But the pain we ignore doesn't just disappear. Have you ever wondered why you keep attracting the same toxic people? I know some of you are probably thinking this. I'm fine. I've moved on. But did you really? If you don't take the proper time to heal, you'll end up bleeding on people who never cut you. Let that sink in for a second. Most people don't realize it, but the pain we ignore doesn't just disappear. It lingers. It festers. And eventually it spills out into our relationships, our decisions, and even onto people that we love. Have you ever wondered why you keep attracting the same toxic people, the same toxic relationships? Why you struggle to trust, to maybe love fully, or feel at peace even when things are going well, like you're just waiting for the shoe to drop? It's because you haven't healed. And here's the thing. God doesn't want you to live life in that cycle. He doesn't want you to just sit in your past wounds and allow it to dictate your future. In fact, the Bible gives us powerful warnings about this exact thing. In Hebrews 12 verse 15, it says, "See to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter roots grow to cause trouble and defile many." This verse makes it clear. Unhealed wounds become bitter roots. They don't just affect you, they spread, they destroy, they corrupt. And today we're going to talk about how healing should be something that's a non-negotiable. How it impacts every single area of your life and what you can do to finally break free. Let's get into it. So let's dive right into it. Did you know that the pain you carry affects every single part of your life? I know some of you are probably thinking this. I'm fine. I've moved on. But did you really? If someone brings up your ex, does your stomach drop? You haven't healed. If you come across your ex's social media profile or maybe run into them out in the supermarket, do you feel your heart race? You haven't healed. If you push people away because you're scared of getting hurt, you haven't healed. If you need consistent validation to feel worthy, you haven't healed. If you can't sit in silence without distractions because your mind starts to race, you start to overthink or just linger into thoughts that you don't want to think about, sorry to break it to you, but you haven't healed. Pain doesn't just sit in your past, it seeps into the present. Think about how many relationships have fallen apart, not because people that were involved in the relationship, but because the baggage they brought into it. Whew. Let that sink in for a minute. Unhealed wounds make you hyper dependent because you're afraid of relying on someone else. So you're strong and you can do everything on your own. You don't like asking for help because you're afraid to rely on other people. And it's okay to ask for help at sometimes. If anything, it can be a big problem when you're constantly not asking for help, especially in circumstances where you should. Hypersensitivity because you feel or still feel abandoned. Unhealed wounds make you feel overly critical because you're projecting your pain onto others. You might come off a little rude or aggressive or too blunt. This is why healing isn't optional. It's essential if you're looking to have healthy relationships in your life, regardless of the relationship level, friendships, family members, and intimate relationships. And Jesus knew this also. That's why he healed people. It wasn't just their physical sicknesses that he healed. It was their minds, their souls, and their spirits too. You can't walk into the future while you're still holding to parts of your past. That's not how healing works, especially if you're looking to not repeat the past. You can look at it in terms of focusing on the lesson, but stop focusing on the pain so you can put an end to your suffering. And acting like you're okay doesn't just make you okay. That's not how it works. So let's go over this verse. Isaiah 43 verse 18 through 19 says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" God is telling you, well, actually, God is telling all of us, not just you, me as well, to stop dwelling on the things that are blocking us from being able to see the new things that he's trying to bring into our lives. You can't hold on to the past and receive the future that God has for you at the same time. How are you supposed to catch your blessings if you're still holding on to things that happened yesterday? That's not how it works. Imagine trying to run forward while gripping onto a heavy chain from the past. You won't get that far. You can't walk into a healthy relationship if you're still shackled by trust issues. You can't embrace new opportunities if you're still bitter about past failures. You can't step into your purpose if you're still identifying with your past mistakes. Woo! I felt that one. Healing isn't about forgetting, it's about breaking free. Listen, time doesn't heal wounds, intentionality does. So what you do with that time doesn't matter how long it takes. It's a matter of what you do during that time frame. So listen to this. Time lets wounds scar over. And if you don't take the proper time to deal with those issues underneath the wounds, the scar itself will rip open the next time something triggers you. Does that make sense? So you might feel fine and everything's okay, but the moment something resurfaces that triggers you about the past, it's as if you are just experiencing it for the first time, and it sets you all the way back all over again. Just when you thought you were healed, you weren't really. You were just pretending to be. Healing is a command, not a suggestion. In John 5 verse 8, Jesus says to the man, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." That's an action step. Healing requires you to acknowledge the pain. You can't heal what you refuse to admit that exists. That makes perfect sense. So forgive, not for them, but for you, because unforgiveness is a prison and you're the one that's locked inside. I've said this before. So in order for you to heal, it requires you to renew your mind. You can't heal with the same mindset that hurt you. That's why in Romans 12 verse 2, it says to be transformed by renewing your mind. Surround yourself with the right people. Healing isn't meant to be done in isolation. That's why Jesus sent disciples out 2 by 2 in groups, not by themselves. And I know healing is hard, but understand that it's worth it. But staying broken is even harder. And I want to let you know this: healing is messy, it's difficult, but you don't have to do it alone. Join our healing community, Pieces to Peace. Link is in the description. You can join there, and I'd love to see you there. You don't have to do it alone. The enemy wants you to believe that no one understands your pain, that no one sees your struggle. But God does see it. He's waiting for you to let go, waiting for you to trust him with your wounds, waiting for you to pick up your mat and walk. This is your sign and reminder that you have what it takes to heal. It's okay to stop and turn around and face those things that you've been running away from. And remember that you're not alone. That is the biggest lie that you can tell yourself. So here's what I want you to do. If this video spoke to you, drop a comment below and tell me, what's one thing you know you need to heal? And what's one step you're committed to take today towards your healing journey? So let's stop ignoring the pain. Let's break free. Let's actually become the men and women that God intended us to be. If you found this valuable, hit the like button, subscribe, share this with a friend. I would love to hear your thoughts. Drop some suggestions for future videos. I appreciate you all. Stay strong, stay intentional, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace from Dees.